Please click the subscribe button and the notification icon. It will help us a lot.
I think often when I listen to interviews again like this, and people generally have quite like, especially I think people in the States, I think have quite a direct line from college into studios. Whereas for me, for instance, when I left college, I just assumed, okay, I'd leave college and I'll go into animation. That's what I'll do. But actually, when I left college, my first job was I was working as a pitch boarder. So I was doing storyboards for pitch adverts for Guinness and people like that. And then within literally a month of leaving college, I actually ended up working as a sculptor. So basically, I ended up, someone had seen my drawings, who I'd known through someone else, and they basically said, if you can draw like that, you can sculpt. So they hired me as a sculptor. So then I was now basically working on pitch boards in my spare time, and I was working full time as a sculptor. After that, I illustrated some children's books. I did some concept design. I did various other things, and then that was all in the space of say 1 year. And then I realized that, okay, I want to go back to college. I want to get more savvy in terms of filmmaking, because that was not something that I got from Ballyfermot. So then I went to Edinburgh College of Art, and there basically it was completely the opposite of say something like Ballyfermot, which was incredibly structured. If you imagine Ballyfermot was like much more like school, like you go class to class, every day you're just going through, you have 9 modules to complete and you have to be certain places at certain times. In Edinburgh, it was much more about, here's your desk, here's your deadline in a very broad way, and you can do, like you have a project, but you can do it in stop motion, paint on glass, you can do cutouts, you can do 2D, you can do whatever you want, but it's more about forming who you are. When I left there, I was actually hired as a sculptor at the Edinburgh Dungeons, and then I actually ended up being the carpenter there, basically building props. So I ended up building like torture devices, all kinds of crazy things, and like dead bodies, corpses with like intestines hanging out, and all kinds of crazy props and things like that. And then worked as a motion graphics artist, then worked as a storyboarder, all the time while I was putting myself through college being a barman. Then came back to Ireland. I saw that basically Cartoon Saloon were looking for a compositor. So I typed into Google, what's a compositor? Because I didn't know. And then realized that actually the live action films I've been making with my friends that I've been editing and doing special effects on and all that kind of thing, I realized that basically just the things I've been doing to kind of fill in the gap, because we had like basically no money, I actually realized that was compositing. And that's the first job I did at Saloon, was I was a compositor on an advert. And that's actually how I got in. So in a weird way, so my point is, in terms of this, the strangest things that happened in terms of me working in animation, or what I found working in animation, was the fact that when I left college, I thought, okay, I will just go from A to B, just go from college to animation. And actually, I ended up going from here to here to here, and all over the map before I came back to animation. And at the time when I was doing those things, I really felt that all the time animation was what I wanted to do. And now in the last few years, like the last nearly 5.5 years I've been at Saloon, I think it's those times that I draw on the most, in terms of inspiration, or in terms of education, and in terms of what I learned in that period of time. Those are the things that I draw on more than my everyday things that I'm doing. So I guess to answer your question in a very roundabout way, I think it's the fact that, yeah, there's no, if you feel that you want to work in animation but you're doing other things, keep going towards it, and try to find other things that you can aim your creativity into. And you will find later that actually doing those other things that aren't animation will always feed back into it, and feed back into your filmmaking, and feed back into shaping you as a director or an artist or